What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the No Matter What podcast. My name is Sina.
I'm Rafa.
Charles,
What up, Charles?
what's up, bro?
What's up, man? We finally got you out here after you canceled on us because doctor's appointment wasn't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey, but the point is, you made it out here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that.
Okay.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Where do we begin, man?
Beginning.
What's the beginning and the end now? What?
Beginning.
You got an hour.
I grew up in a
Damn.
little small town, man, called Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Nigga, Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, we had a mother and a father, an older brother, and a little brother. When I look back, home was good. Yeah, it was more my perception of home that distorted. Pops always worked, mom always worked. Church always in the picture. I had that kind of mom that she was real strict. You could smoke your cigarettes and drink your beer. That's it. My dad couldn't even. He had to go outside to smoke a joint. He didn't play none of that. I don't know. I just remember growing up, man. I don't know, something was missing. I don't know what it was. I didn't really like family. I would sit in my room with the doors locked, and I don't know, hope and pray the room they in blew the fuck up. I don't know where it came from. I just remember when I look back, I remember being like 8, 9 years old, thinking about like killing everybody in my family.
Mm.
I don't even know, to this day, I don't know where that came from. So my mom, I felt like her favorite was my oldest brother, and I felt like my dad's favorite was my younger brother. In the beginning, my brother did a lot of stuff. He was in the streets. Mom put him out because he was selling dope. And she put him out. Then I figured, okay, I'm gonna be the man now. I'm gonna get all the attention. It's just me now. And mom's got pregnant. You know how they go. The new baby is all the attention now. So one more time, ain't nobody paying no attention. I think that kind of bothered me. I used to fuck over my little brother. I would beat him up, push him down the steps, pee in the bed and say he done it. Shit like that, man. I treated him bad, man. But I always thought that my oldest brother was my mom's favorite. Younger brother was my dad's favorite. Just didn't really see me being in the picture nowhere. That's how I felt. That's how I thought. So, you know, I was in the streets a lot. I didn't give a fuck about no street light. Come on. I found out if I act a fool and do stupid shit, that's the way I got attention. Had nothing to do with good grades, making the varsity basketball team. No, let's break in a house next door. Slap my teacher. It was crazy. I remember being in school and the principal was like, look, man, a theft had went down, some vandalizing that went down. And they was like, you want us to call your mom? I was like, hell no, call the police. He was like, what? Nah, I'm safe with the police. Please don't call her. Yeah. She came. They seen why I wanted the police to come instead of her. Moms flipped the fuck out. Yeah, so it was crazy, man. It was a whole little street life. Really just a lot of acting out, man. Robberies, snatching pocketbooks, running up in liquor stores as a group. Uh, these guys, making them draw his attention here. Back then they had 6 packs and 12 packs. Beer was right there, like outside the store. Don't nobody hiding it and locking nothing up back. You just go in there and take all that shit. Whatever. Even at department stores, shit was on display outside. You pull up, throw that shit in your trunk, pull the fuck off. So it was a lot of that going on. Nothing real tough. But it was a strain on my family because I kept getting caught, kept going to jail. I had a daddy. My daddy was like, you go to jail once, that's cool. After that, you're on your own. Remember just calling home, had to pops, I'm in jail again. Like, okay. And he hung up. I called back. I said, Pops, I'm like, yeah, he said, I heard you. What mom at? Yeah, you get better out calling her. He was not coming to get me. Mom always came and got me. Always came and got me. Always did the lecture, tried to keep me on punishment. None of that shit worked. By this time, I was, drinking that Mad Dog 2020, uh, Silver Satin, smoking weed, no drug, no hard or tooting powder. My brother was a drug dealer, so when they put him out, I figured I guess his way of showing love was, birthdays and stuff like that, man. This motherfucker would give me powder cocaine.
Good sack.
Oh, yeah. Or when I went to the prom, he rented me a limo, gave me an ounce of powder. I never made it to the prom. I, I woke up to the police knocking on the window of the limo. It was all fogged up. I'm geeked the fuck up, man. I've been tooting cocaine on. I never got out the car. Still got the outfit on. Everybody's gone, man. It's an empty parking lot. Uh, yeah, so I just remember a lot of silly shit, man. And then, in jails, uh, juvenile hall, that type of stuff, fighting in school, fighting in the neighborhood. My brother had a name in the neighborhood, and my thing was to get my own name. It was always, oh, that's little Cole Penny brother. I go to try to get in the club, people will come out, oh, that's little Cofield. I never had a name for me. So I just started doing stupid shit. I wanted my own name. I wanted to walk in my own brand of dignity. That's what's so
Yeah.
stupid. And I just started doing shit. And my brother was like, man, what's going on with you? Back, I was like, fuck me, what's going on? You're a drug dealer, man. Fuck you talking about what's going on with me. Oh, you should be back in school. And dude, really? Are you serious? So I wasn't really trying to hear nothing he was saying. In my mind, you in the streets, I'm in the streets. Why are you trying to? So it just became a big old thing, man. It got real, real ugly, man. Pops was like, man, you got to get up out of here. You got to go.
How old
Go
were you at the time?
about 14. Like, go where, motherfucker? What is you? So I just started staying with like different my friends. They would let me stay over. Their parents would let me stay over there. Um, they would get hotel rooms after robberies, fix or whatever. I was still going to school, still sneaking in the house when they wasn't around, just doing little dumb shit, man. Eventually, mom let me come back, but it was conditioned. Like, you got to go to school, you got to get a job. And I was like, I ain't got no problem going to school. I'm not getting a job. I already got a job. I'm a hustler.
Hanging dope.
Yeah. And, but then it turned, man. Shit got crazy. We got the experiment with powder cocaine, and the crack epidemic hit.
Mm.
And I started experimenting with crack cocaine. Primos at first.
Ooh, goddamn.
Smoked a lot of Primos. I remember my mom saying, baby, what kind of cigarette is that? Because you've been smoking on that motherfucker for about an hour. Because, if you don't smoke them, they go
They
out.
go out.
Uh, But then there was this group of, this organization called Chapel Sales Incorporated. They was coming. I know the day that they focused on small towns. Because small towns, everybody want to get up out of small towns. They never went to the big cities because nobody wanted to leave the big city. So I remember they came through Chattanooga and they was offering to allow me to travel the state to sell books and magazines. And my mom didn't want me to go. Pops was like, man, take his ass. Get him the fuck up out of here. And I remember going, man. Man, I took off. Been to like maybe 30 states, over hundreds of cities. Selling books and magazines, knocking on door, raw sales pitches. Selling books and magazines, encyclopedias, all different types of magazines, Bibles. I was good, man.
Oh yeah.
I was good, man. Oh man, I was making cool fucking money, man. I was using, man. Right? Using got progressive, man. I was wearing Argyle socks, paisley ties, suspenders. Oh man, I was fly as fuck, man. You know what I mean? Uh, but it got bad, man. We would
How old were you
always,
when you were doing that?
I think they let me go at 17.
Damn.
Yeah, let me go at 17. I ended up coming out here to California. I ended up staying.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I was dating a chick in Long Beach, and that's why I ended up staying for a lot of years. Started gang banging on the east side of Long Beach. I was still using, but I was able to use and hide it. You know?
Really?
Yeah, I was able to use and hide it
For
for a
how
minute.
long? For how long?
For a minute, maybe about 2.5 years, maybe, maybe, yeah. And she was a good girl, man. And I just remember always telling myself that I can't let her find out about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm a loser, you know? Because prior to that, I had another girl in Tennessee, and my mom said, "You know, my baby smoked that shit, right?" I'm like, "Mama, why would you tell her that?"
Damn.
You know?
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. She's like, "What you mean, shit? Yeah, my son smoked that crack." Say that, man. Like, so that used to ring in my head too, and I knew that, like, so I was, the double life, man. Uh, but I couldn't contain it, man. It got,
Progressively got worse.
yeah, it got progressively got worse. The game got deeper in the game.
Of course.
The deeper you get in the game, the more dope you're exposed to.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, it got bad, man. And then I started catching cases. Yeah, she was like, "Yeah, I ain't put in for this, dog." You know what I'm saying?
How long did she stick around?
I think we was together about 5 years, man.
Oh, damn.
Even when we broke up, she would support me in the penitentiary, you know?
Damn.
Well, a few times, but eventually,
Got tired.
yeah, she got tired. Just like my baby mama, she got tired, you know. She got tired. She got married. She moved on. Cause she was like, "I feel like I'm doing time too. My life I ain't doing that now. Sitting around waiting on you. And when you do get out, motherfucker, you go right back.
Go
To the
right back.
streets.
So it's like, so in and out of jail, man.
So at
Yeah.
what point, so this is 18, 19, early 20s. So at what point did recovery come
Man, recovery
knocking at the
didn't come.
door?
Oh, it was 20-some more years later, man.
Damn, so you were,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Damn, why you say it like that?
I
Damn.
used,
cause, I
I
mean,
used for a long time, man. Yeah, I went to my first treatment well, I went to a few treatment programs. I even went to one in Tennessee. But again,
so
I
see, so,
I didn't
so
have no problem.
yeah,
I
yeah,
went because my mama said
of
I had a
course,
problem.
I didn't
of
have no
course.
problem.
Yeah, I didn't have
Yeah.
a problem at 18 either,
And
because
you
the only
gotta
reason I
remember
had it is because the court
Shit.
sent me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and my mom took me to this program, and, you gotta remember at this time when she took me to the program, man, I had a Cadillac Barrettes, I had a couple white holes, I had a perm,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was wearing 9 later Gators,
Yo, I need
you know
to
what I'm
see
saying?
pictures, dog.
Yeah.
And, I was
You
fly as
got
a
pictures on your
motherfucker.
phone?
No. And, so,
So you thought you had it all together. The
yeah,
outside was looking
but
good.
I love my mama, so I said, "I'm gonna do this for moms." Had no clue. And so people came in, but I wasn't paying no attention to that
Of
shit,
course
man.
not.
I was on the snow bunnies that was in the program, man. And then I went to another program after that. It didn't work.
How many programs have you gone to?
Just 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Now well, actually 4, because I went to the Castle East, relapse, and then came back, and you had to go to Castle West. You couldn't go back to Castle already there. So actually, uh, but yeah, man, I used for a long time. I used in all those states, and then I ended up in California again, and I never left. Uh, so
Did you think moving to a different state was gonna change your addiction?
I didn't even look at it that way. I was having a ball, man. I was going to these states to states. These people depended on me. I was real good at sales. They would give incentives if you meet your quota. Before the end of the week,
You were making money. You had no
yeah,
problem.
get a hotel
Yeah.
room and a rental car. I'm on that.
Yeah.
I won all the time.
Yeah.
The rental car was full of primos, and then I graduated to smoking on the can. And I remember the guy at the company vehicle was like, "Hey, what is all these crushed Coca-Cola cans doing in the back of the company van?" I ain't say shit, you know, and, I was more pissed that, "Damn, I should step it, cleaned all that out." Because while everybody sleep, I would steal the company van and go through Compton, watch Long Beach, smoking. And somehow I would get back before everybody woke up. And we would be in these staff meetings, and I would have these big ass motherfucking eyes because I've been up all night. Uh, man, it just couldn't keep. I couldn't keep up with it, man. I couldn't keep going, man. I'm always tired. I'm always sleeping. I always want to hit. And for years, this went on in and out the penitentiary, man. Out the getting out used and getting out used and getting out used. I got clean at I got 14 years clean now.
You just celebrated
Yeah,
14
just
years.
celebrated 14.
Monday.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And, yeah, man. So I was out there for a long time before recovery made sense to me. I ain't gonna say it was made available because it was made available a lot of years. I just wasn't interested.
Mm.
But this particular time, like I'm not the addict I didn't have to come to a meeting or meet you guys to find out I had a problem. I knew I had a problem. Uh, I wasn't trying to do nothing about it, right? Or I didn't have to come to a meeting and hear somebody share. My life was unmanageable. You know, I I was living from pillar to post. I knew my life was unmanageable because I don't know when the next time I'm gonna fucking eat. I gotta go, to Target and hope I can steal an outfit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck washing my ass. I just need a fresh fit. But I
Yeah.
need to look the part. That was how everything was, man. I needed to look the part. Um, and I never really thought about doing anything different, man. I remember my family would try to reach out, uh, but I would never. You know, you get wind of it here and there. I run into some people that I knew, or every now and then I could keep a phone. I keep a phone for a minute when I get out, until I start using it. Fuck this phone. Or when I go to the pen, I call home, let everybody know I'm safe, and because I need some shit now. Uh, so everybody sent pictures and money and TV and all that. And I'm balling in the penitentiary. When I get out, man, my father died when I was in the penitentiary. They sent me a gang of money. Thought I would come home. I didn't. I smoked. My older brother died. They sent me money in hopes I would come home. Uh, I got out and I smoked. Uh, it was crazy because me and my older brother, we worked at this company together, selling books and magazines, traveling. Uh, he got the manager position. Um, and it wasn't that I couldn't get the manager position. When I look back, I never wanted those positions because I never wanted to be responsible and accountable for.
Yeah.
Like they would have to have a meeting and really press me to train people. When new people come in, you want to send them with the best of the best.
Mm.
I'm killing them because I need you to because I'm gonna go out here and get my quota and I'm gonna go smoke. I can't smoke with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to train nobody. I don't want to be responsible for nobody. I want to just do me. And I didn't know how deep the selfish and self-centered was until I got the program. So these years went by, man, and out to penitentiary, been to the penitentiary 7 times in 5 different states. I always share that for people not to make them think I'm tough, but to let them know that I was a stupid motherfucker that didn't know how to live. You know, in and out, man. And so this time I got out, man, and I came to this program. They put me in this program. The courts did. And this was a different type of program because these men and these women that was in this program, they seemed like they was actually wanting to change their life. I had been in a couple programs where people was bullshit. Yeah, they might have been wanting to change their life too, but I didn't see it. And but these guys had been into a lot of programs And I'm saying that because these guys today, they got more clean time. And I was in the program, so it's safe to say I relapsed. They didn't. You know? But these guys were serious, man, and they would call me on my shit. I didn't like them dudes. You know, I'm like, man, you motherfuckers soft, man. Y'all out of here, man. Got soft. You know what I'm saying? I bet you bitch ass nigga in the penitentiary. You know, all that just talking shit, man. Cause that's all I was working with. That's all I was doing.
I think that's all you knew.
Yeah, pretty
Oh.
much. That's it. Didn't know no better, man. And I had a counselor, man, and we still friends today. Uh, it was a lot of stuff going on in the program. I had made uh, president of the program. I was on work phase. I had got a job. I was going to work. I was getting weekend passes. I was selling dope on weekend passes, coming back in. The program has always been a safe space for me. I could do the right thing in the program. I was selling dope. I was working. And but prior to all that, I was getting a lot of accolades in the program. I always been an avid reader, so I could read some shit and regurgitate it and spit it back and sound like Shakespeare, you know. Um, and everybody was giving me accolades, and they was asking my counselor, "What you think?" He was like, "Man, he full of shit." My counselor was like, "Man, he on some bullshit. He tricking the shit out of y'all." And they was like, "What you mean?" They was like, "Man, the real Charles ain't showed up." He used to always say that. One day, I forgot what happened, but I smacked somebody with a radio, and he was like, "Oh, there go the real Charles right there." Walk around this motherfucker like he walk on water, you know what I'm saying? And after that, uh, then he started drilling me and getting into the process because now he had in his mind, now I had something to work with. I was working with the real Charles because he knew that I was just doing time in that program. He knew I wasn't. It's like jail to him. You know what I'm saying? He just get a chance to be out here, wear your own clothes. Because every time you leave this house, you fucking up. You fucking all the women, you lying. And I had deviated, and the girl came back early and told on her and me. Yeah. And they made a bet. They said, well, he gonna have to cop to it. He said, man, Charles ain't gonna cop to shit. They came in there and they said, you bet up with somebody? I said, oh. They said, what you do? I said, took care of my business. They say, so you and Jackie didn't meet up and have sex. Hell no, I don't even like Jackie. He was just looking at me like, I told y'all, that motherfucker ain't gonna cop the shit. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember that, man, like, and then I ended up going back to prison. And this counselor, I had a lot of clothes, man. And he kept all my shit at the program in the garage in the storage. I think I did 25 months. When I got out, he had my stuff. I was the first AB 109 inmate to get sober living. They was I was the first one. So I was about to make history. And I fucked it up. I got loaded, man, you know? Yeah, I
This
got
shit gonna
loaded.
work. Hell nah.
I got loaded, man, and this is a revolving door, man, back and forth and back and forth. I don't know, man. My last time in jail, I did time. I came back to the county jail. They had this program called Impact, and I didn't know nothing about it. I had heard about it, but I'm on the main line, and so they came in there and called my name, told me to roll it up. Where I'm going, they said, "Man, just roll your shit up." They sent me to this yard, and it was the yard for everybody that was in Impact, and I met Gary Jones.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Man, what the fuck is this, man? I ain't asked to come over here." Like your sponsor, Charles H, asked me to put you in the program. I was like, "Man, I got 18 months to do. I'm a crip. Get me the fuck off this sensitive need ass yard." And he said, "Okay." And he sent me back to mainline. I remember about 90 days to the house, man, I got a feeling. I can't really describe it, but it was one of them feelings that basically said, I want you gonna smoke, dog. And I remember writing a letter to him and filling out one of those little sheets. And 2 days later, they came and got me. He said, "Oh, you ready, huh?" I said, "Yeah, man." And that was the start for me.
Moment of clarity.
Yeah. because Gary Jones was really one of the first. I had already met my sponsor, but I hadn't stayed around long enough to get to know my sponsor. I didn't go to enough meetings and I didn't stay around enough. You know what I mean? But in jail, I saw Gary every day, except for the weekend. He had a YA number, a state number, and a Fed number. I felt like I gotta listen to this cat.
Yeah.
He come from my background, you know? And he gave me the just for the day. He said, every day I come in, I want you to read that just for the day. And the day you don't have it, I'm gonna roll your ass up like a Frisco hoe. Man, this is a disrespectful motherfucker right here, man. And I was reading that just for the day. And one day he told me, right now you just talking out your neck. Eventually, you start talking out your heart. I didn't really know what that meant, man. And he rammed steps 1, 2, and 3 in us. And one day he did some shit that pissed me off. I was hot, man. I went back to the dorm, like, man, fuck this program, man. I'm out of here. And just before, it was time for him to go home, he came in my dorm. He said, come here. And he sat me down because he knew. I guess he seen it. Like, this motherfucker for a trip. Because of what he had said to me. And he sat me down and he explained why he said what he said. And then he built me right back up.
He broke you down and then built you
Built
up.
me
Yeah.
right back up. And I
See that?
remember him leaving. And I remember saying, man, I might can do this thing, man. You know? And it was at that moment that I decided that I had realized that that I wasn't shit, not as a person, but by the decisions that I had made. Because I always often wonder, man, how did I get here? Because people always told me, man, you got the gift of gab, man, you sharp, you smart, woo. And man, how I get here though, God? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck, man? And I just remember he brought my sponsor in to speak at the jail. And man, that was amazing. And I remember this dude that asked my sponsor to sponsor him. He said, hey man, unfortunately, I'm not taking no more sponsees. I got 22 sponsees. And he said, Charles, I was in the crowd. He said, Charles, you still one of them. Man, I wanted to cry. But I was in there with them gangsters, man. But he don't know how that made me feel when he said that. He said, you still my sponsor. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait for you to get out.
So at that point, when you got out, did you start doing some work?
When I got out that particular time, I got out I was released from the county jail. I did not have a phone. The Picer had a phone. I had my sponsor's
The
number.
Pisces?
Picer, he was right. He got out with me. I said, hey man, you mind if I use the phone? He gave me the phone. The only number I had in my property was Charles H.
Yeah.
And I called him. I said, hey man, it's Charles. What's up? He said, where you at? I said, I just got out of jail. I'm on my way downtown. He said, we got a problem. I said, what? He said, you going downtown?
Yeah.
He said, you need to get to the clubhouse. I got to the clubhouse, man.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. I got to the clubhouse and he bought me something to eat. I had on a fur coat. It was about 90 degrees.
Well, hold on. You had a fur coat getting out of the LA County jail
Hell yeah. You
in
got
90-degree weather?
That was my dress. That was what I went to jail in.
Fine.
Yeah.
I love it.
Payless tennis shoes on. Yeah, man. And I went to the clubhouse. He bought me something to eat.
Did you still have the mean coat on?
Yeah.
Okay.
My homeboy William, my best friend, he happened to be at the club. It was God shot because he walked in the clubhouse and looked up at each other. Man, it was in the program together. William's from Long Beach too. And he started crying, man. He's like, welcome home, man. I love you. And William had got clean, you know. He was like, welcome home, man. I love you. And we went somewhere and he pulled over and he went in his truck. He had a jacket, brand new jacket that was tight. I was like, that's me? He said, yeah, one condition. I'm like, what? He said, man, throw that raggedy ass motherfucking jacket. That is not fur, nigga. That is rabbit, a rat or something. I remember throwing that jacket away, man. Taking the one that he gave me. And I didn't really have nowhere to go. Didn't nobody really know me. And my sponsor's like, "I don't know this motherfucker. He coming to my wife and kid." And, I had ended up going to a sober living in East LA. And when
Okay.
and when I got out, got the name of that shit. And when I got there, I woke up early in the morning. When I went down to the kitchen, it's like I was in the penitentiary because
Mhm.
all the essays was right over here. I
Ah,
felt it. As soon as I came to the kitchen, it was like 3 of them in the kitchen, and I felt it. See, I was used to that, right? So when they acted the way they acted, I was used to that. But this other guy came downstairs and he said, "Hey, man, what's your name?" I said, "My name is Charles." He said, "My name is Johnny Checo in a fellowship."
yeah,
And he said, "What area you out of?" I said, "I'm out of Long Beach." He said, "You ever been in recovery?" I said, "Yeah, man, I do Narcotics Anonymous. I got a sponsor, Charles H." He said, "Charles H. your sponsor?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, I know Cosmo, Big
yeah,
Lee."
yeah.
He said, "Man, I got clean at the Greater Los Angeles Clubhouse." I said, "What?" We got to talking, and he said, "Hey, come here." We went outside. He said, "Stay right here." And we went down the street. What I know, I didn't know what he was doing then, but I know today. He went down the street to the shot caller's house. He told him, "Hey, it's a black dude from Long Beach. He here, trying to get his life together. He got to pass through here, look for work, go to meetings, stall him out." Nobody had ever done no shit like that for me, man. I remember going and back and forth. Them guys would just throw the peace sign. They would speak, let me go on by my business. They was down there murdering motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Me and Johnny been tight ever since. He had me doing a lot of panels, going to treatment centers, and yeah, man, nobody. And I always, anytime I go somewhere or speak or take a cake and Johnny's there, I talk about that story
Yeah.
because Johnny don't know what he did for me. Just the fact of knowing all the people that I knew, I would have never thought Johnny got clean in the great LA clubhouse. That he knew Cosmo, Big Lee, and we was on, and I was like, wow. And then from there, man, I ended up getting my own apartment. Uh, what I knew is that I needed to go to meet. I had enough information, had been exposed to enough information. I think the difference now was uh, I wanted to do something different. I didn't know what that was gonna look like, but I didn't wanna, so I went to a lot of meetings. I went to a meeting every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day for the first 5 years of my recovery. I ain't had no job, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And then when I did get a job, I was working overnights at Sober College in the Valley. I was working for Chrysalis first, and William was working at Sober College. He said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna get you a job out here in the Valley." I said, "Okay, cool, man." He said, "Not right now. Maybe been a year.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta work on your attitude, man. These is rich kids. You're gonna go to jail over there because they do dumb shit. And I know you're gonna put your hands on one of them. You going back to prison."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And a year went by, he got me on out. And and I understood what he was saying because this one guy, he was talking shit. I had brand new K Swiss on. And he stepped on my shoes and said, "What's up, Charles?" And I just remember, I went outside and I called my sponsor. I said, "Man, this motherfucker just stepped on my shoes, man. He baiting me." And Charles said, "What you gonna do?" I
Yeah.
said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, won't you just go in there and do your motherfucking job?" I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Man, you can get some more shoes." He
He's
said,
pressing me.
"Yeah, let's do the math. You going to prison. You gonna step on somebody's shoes tomorrow." And I took that, man. And it's crazy because even today, I haven't seen him in about a year. But a few years after that, maybe 4 or 5 years after that, Sober College closed.
Yeah.
I ended up leaving, going to another job because I wanted to get into the mental health field. And I knew I couldn't do it with them because it was a treatment.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but years later, this dude got clean. And every time he saw me at a meeting, he apologized for stepping on my shoes. Every time, man, it got to the point I was annoyed with every time. "Hey, Charles, man, hey, I know, dude." I was annoyed. I said, "William, why this motherfucker keep apologizing?" He done apologized 100 times. William said, "Man, that's personal
Yeah.
stuff. He feel bad about what he done because now he understand what you was trying to do back then." Because I was on him like, "What's the first step and what you read your literature? I remember my grant sponsor called me and said, man, what's going on at the job? I said, man, good. He said, what do you do? I said, I'm a monitor. He said, oh, you're a monitor? I said, yeah. He said, you ain't on council? I said, no. He said, what the fuck you trying to make people do steps over there? Why is you belittling people because they don't know the first step? Why is you talking crazy to people because they ain't your job, man? You a monitor. You come on at night. They in bed. You monitor. The people that want to hear recovery, they'll let you know. Yeah. And he was right, man. There's a guy now I still work with. He lives in New York. He come out here every year and take a cake. Yeah, Joe, man. Joe, a good dude. That was a whole big experience for me right there, man. Because there was a lot of kids that
How
come
much
from
clean time did you have right there?
when I got that job, I had about 2 or 3 years.
You were fresh.
Yeah, I was fresh, 2 or 3 years, almost 4 years clean. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, right? When you first came around into the rooms, right? What was your impression? What was your first impression?
My first impression of the rooms when I first got here, uh, mine was different. It wasn't that I didn't believe people was clean.
Nope.
I wasn't tripping off that. My first impression was, how can I do what they do?
Mm.
You know, the stuff I was seeing, it was just like being a kid again on the block, watching the pimps pull up in the cars with the snow bunnies and the big old hats and the gators. It was the same way here. I wanted what these people had to offer. It wasn't the recovery I wanted. I wanted the
His
money,
life.
the cars, I wanted the clothes,
Yeah.
I wanted the girls. And I hadn't realized that wasn't what this was about.
Correct.
That was just as a result of getting clean. And that's what I was attracted.
Well, that's what it is when we first came in. Because when I first came in, the first thing I wanted to work on was my fit.
Mhm.
You know, that's what it's the program of attraction rather than
Mhm.
promotion.
Yeah.
What attracted me was the laughs, the smiles, the cars, the
Mhm.
girls, the life, the houses. Like fuck, like you actually have your
Yeah.
own house. Like fuck, you ain't roommates with somebody.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know that shit right there. But and then at some point, it got to a place where it was like, okay, I can make the outside look good, but I
Mhm.
still kept relapsing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still kept going on and using. You know, so at some point, when did okay, I need to fucking work on the inside.
Yeah.
Start kicking in.
I can tell you this. At some point, it switched because I started going to a lot of meetings. I was a meeting maker because I didn't
Mhm.
wanna hang out with me.
Yeah.
I had already realized that I needed to hang out with
Yep.
I didn't have no friends outside of using and gangbanging.
Mhm.
So I would go to a lot of meetings and people would share. And I've always been an avid reader. All through the penitentiary, that's what I do. I read books. When I was a kid, I always was an avid reader. Always read books.
And it's crazy he sold books and all that shit.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's
always
the
was
only
a
reason you
reader,
read
man.
books. The fuck?
In the penitentiary, I read
Yeah.
all type of self-help books, open your mind books. So I was always been a sharp and intelligent cat. I just never used none of it. So when I started going to meetings and people were sharing and they was touching my spirit, oh man, that motherfucker, yeah, it was touching me. But I didn't have the courage to walk up and say, hey man, thank you for the message, Papa. Can I get your number? I wasn't there yet.
Sure would have done it for a sack of dope.
But I knew I needed to go wherever meeting you was going. I need to go to that motherfucker.
Find that. Yeah, I get it.
Because I was looking for that feeling.
Sooner or later, I'm gonna fucking talk to you.
And I would go to a meeting and you might not be there, but somebody else shared.
Mhm.
And I was working overnights, so I started doing a lot of noon meetings. I went to Tropical Cafe for 5 years, almost 6 years in a row. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Monday through Friday at 12 and Saturdays at 1:00, almost 6 years in a row. And it was some crazy motherfuckers.
So would that help building your foundation? Getting to see people,
Yes.
getting to know
Yes.
people. You
Yes.
know, I mean, oh
And I
fuck, I
was
seen you
watching
at
the
a
people that couldn't get it, that wanted to get it, that couldn't get it, the struggles, the this, the that. I remember I was calling my sponsor a lot, telling him about my experiences in meetings. I was telling him about how this share made me feel. And I remember he told me one day, he said, man, I've been talking to you for like the last 90 days. What I come to realize is, man, I believe I want it.
Yeah.
Because the question, who goes to a meeting and come and share with their sponsor every fucking share that was at the meeting? I said, yeah, man, Cena shared this, and then Ralph had shared this, and I was just naming the people and everything that they had shared because everybody was hitting me in the gut. I didn't know how to utilize it, but I knew if that's why I went to so many meetings. I would leave that meeting, go to another meeting. My sponsor's like, motherfucker, do you go to sleep? Like, do you ever go to your apartment? Because I was in meetings, man. But
That
I was
reminds
in.
me of me because that's how I was. I
I think that's how everyone was
Well,
in the
yeah,
beginning, you know?
some people don't go. I used to go to fucking at my old area where I got clean. Is we had coffee club at 9 o'clock, coffee club at 10:30, and then we had a noon meeting for the fellowship we go with. So I would hit 3 meetings in the morning before noon automatically because I didn't have a fucking job. I didn't have nothing to do with. So what am I gonna do? If I always they used to always say an addict alone's an addict in dangerous territory. So I would make sure like I ain't trying to be home because I could stay home and watch TV, but what the fuck am I getting from that? So I will go to those 3 meetings and then I will hit one at night. So for 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, I was going to 4 meetings a day, building my foundation, like you say, building that rapport. Cause of course that uncomfortable feeling of going and putting yourself out there is very uncomfortable.
And prior to that, man, I had got clean before. I had 18 months clean, and I got out. I had a job. I was a manager of an apartment complex. Had my own free
Not in
room.
recovery.
Not in recovery. I was just clean.
White knuckling them
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
yeah. I had got out of the program. Only reason I stayed in the program that long is because the job was remodeling my manager's apartment, and the lady allowed me to stay there 2 more months until my apartment because I was a model client. So I stayed there and then went to my apartment and ended up getting loaded. Never took nothing out of my suitcase. I had like 4 suitcases I was using, and I would just open it up, take an outfit out, and put them all back. I ain't putting that in the drawers. I ain't putting that. I was using.
You weren't planning to stay.
And I remember getting out, and I went to the first dance. My grand sponsor was celebrating 25 years. We gave him a cake, and then we went to a dance. And the disease hit me. I had about $1,800 in my pocket. And the disease said, let's go see what they doing downtown. Mind you, I already know what the fuck they doing downtown.
Yeah.
You smoked down there 25 years.
Nothing's changed. Yeah.
And this dude, I said, you leaving? He said, yeah. I said, man, can you drop me off downtown? He said, yeah, let your sponsor know you leaving. Disease said, fuck you
that.
mean?
Yeah.
I told him, I said, man, I'm a grown ass man. I ain't gonna let that nigga know shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was the disease.
Pride and ego.
And he was just being cordial and being, you know what I'm saying? I went downtown, man, and my homeboy Grump, I know him. I still see him today. I remember going to him and I say, man, let me get a quarter piece. And he said, what? He told everybody to move, get up out of here. And he said, what you doing, dog? What you mean? You make you clean. Got the program. I said, yeah. He said, man, get up out of here, man. You can't get no dope over here. I said, what the fuck wrong with this thing?
A good motherfucker right there.
Get up out of here, man. Of course I found the dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got loaded, man. And
how did you feel right after you got loaded?
right after when it was all over and done, and I was tore up and money gone, and the outfit had changed colors 5 different times. And I called my sponsor, man. I never had the courage to do that. I said, man, maybe I didn't have no desire to stay clean. And he told me something that has stuck with me for the last 14 years. He said, you did have a desire to stay clean. This one greater than your obsession.
Exactly.
He said, this is why we do the work, man. Because you got to have something in between you and that bright idea of going downtown. You let the disease trick you. You know exactly what's going on downtown.
Go downtown where you know what's down there.
Ever since then, man, I got out, but I was going to meetings. I was going for the attraction. Then I started hearing people share. But what really changed me, really stuck, I started the step work process. I only shared this a few times, but a lot of people don't know. I didn't really decide to stay and do this until I got to a 6th step. That's my favorite step because the way my sponsor broke it down, He said, this step here separate the boys from the men. He said, this step right here, you got to stand on spiritual principles or stand on character defense. You got to grow or go, bro. And then then he said, he looked in the literature, it said, ignorance is no longer bliss. You already know what's going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't using no more. Fuck you. He said, right now, you either gonna stay clean, but in order to stay clean, it requires something. In order to use, that requires something too. I said, well, what does using require? You gotta go get the utensils.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get a pipe, real low. You gotta find it. Wow. I said, what I gotta do over here? Continue the step work process. Go to meeting. Be of service when asked. I was like, and the sixth step is when I realized that this is where I wanted to be.
It's funny you say that about the process, because I remember, we heard it many times the saying, we're one bad decision away from fucking up our lives. And I was sharing at a meeting once, and I said that, right? Because of course everybody steals everybody's material, right? So that sounded cool. So I said it. This old timer pulled me to the side after that meeting, and he goes, I don't agree with you. And I was like, what the fuck? No. And he was like, I don't agree with it. We're one bad decision away. And I said, okay, well, I ask questions. What you mean? Break it down for me, please. He goes, because we're not one bad decision away. Because we're really a couple more than one bad decision. We got to make the decision to go get loaded. We got to make the decision to go get money, unless you got cash in your fucking wallet. We got to make the decision, go to the connect, find the connect, because God knows we don't have connects like that no more. If you're working a program, then you got to go get a pipe. If you smoke out of a pipe, you got to. So you're about 6 decisions away from going out and getting loaded. And I was like, okay, I didn't think about it like that. But I still say one bad decision away.
And I also think for me, man, it was the camaraderie, the love, the people, man.
Yeah.
My first convention, I had just got out. I got out with 18 months. I never got a chance to take newcomer tips and all that. And my first convention was a Greater Los Angeles convention. And I spoke at a treatment center, Castle West. And after I shared, Pam said, "You doing a speaker jam at the Greater LA convention?" She didn't ask me. She told me. She said, "What's your number?" And I remember doing that speaker jam, and I was scared. I cussed Vendale out because he talking about he didn't have the song I wanted. And Vendale, he asked William, "Man, what's going on with him, man?" And William said, "Man, that motherfucker scared to death." And I remember my sponsor, I said, "I gotta go to the bathroom with me." Like, what you want me to hold your dick? I was fucked up, man. And I got up there and I shared. And I said, Tracy, my sponsor's wife, she said, "Oh yeah, that motherfucker ready now." And I remember that was my first convention. I brought about 30 outfits. Carl said, "You changed one more time, man." And Tracy was like, "Man, leave that boy alone. He fresh out the penitentiary." And when it ended Sunday, devastated. He was like, "Well, how long you thought this shit was gonna last?" Man, I wanted to stay here forever.
Yeah.
The people, the hugging, the pictures. Man, I fell in love with all that, man. And I think that's why I also
atmosphere
went to a lot of meetings and it was the people, because no matter where I went, somebody greeted me, hugged me. And you got to remember, I've been going to meetings in all areas for 14 years. I've never just stayed in Greater Los Angeles. My sponsor told me, "Listen, I need you to understand that recovery is bigger than Slauson and Western fucking clubhouse. This is cool. This is a spot for people to come and hang out. Ain't got nowhere to go. That's cool. But don't let it be the defining of who you are. God is everywhere, man." And man, I was gone. People was calling him, "Man, your sponsor, he be everywhere." This motherfucker was in Orange County. My sponsor, like, "How'd you get out there?" The bus and the train,
Motherfuckers at Montebello.
Man, I'm busing. Man, I went to more meetings on a bus and a train than I do there in a car.
Yeah.
I swear to God. Man, listen, and I had I had about 7 bus schedules in my back pocket until I learned the schedule. People was calling, "Man, I'm gonna pick you up." "No, you ain't. I'm gonna be on the bus stop at 7-Eleven. That's when the bus pulling up. I ain't got time to be fucking with you. I gotta get, because I knew what time I had to get on the bus or to get there on time. Now, people was taking me home sometime, but I wasn't asking for no ride. know what I'm saying? Because I had fell in love with this thing. Man, because of the way it made me feel. I couldn't wait to get up in the morning. I was staying downtown at this little thing until they gave me an apartment. And they were selling dope, and I knew these people. I used down there. So they was like, "What's up, man?" Man, I'm trying to get away from these motherfuckers. No. I couldn't wait to get up in the morning. I would get up in the morning, shower, change clothes, and just leave. I don't even know where I'm going, but I wanted to get the fuck up out this building. I wanted to get away from these motherfuckers. So I would just go hang out, go to the beach, hang out, and talk to different addicts on the phone. And, I know people was like, man, motherfucker calling all the time. Man, I didn't want to hang out with me, man. I would go back downtown, man. I would, I would be like, fuck, I gotta get up out of here,
So right there, you said you didn't want to hang out with me. So obviously, we've heard the saying many times: wherever we go, there we are.
man.
And obviously, hearing from where you started, where you're at there at that point, like with you saying you're not being the focal point of the family. You had an older brother, then you had the baby brother, then your pops and your moms and the jails and the homies. It reminds me of my story. It so much.
Mhm.
Gang life. No dad there. The mom's always fucking there. My mom helping me out, co-signing my bullshit, enabling me. You know, at what point did it get to where? Because obviously we talked about it a little bit being an inside program. Fuck the outside. We can make the outside look good. Everybody knows that we all can fucking get suited and booted. But at what point did we say, you know what? This is a trauma based program.
Mm.
There's a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of viewers don't even understand that. A lot of viewers didn't know that they have trauma. I didn't understand I had trauma. I speak about it on a daily here.
Mhm.
I've had, I had dad issues, right? I didn't have a dad growing up. I didn't have him. I didn't have a mentor. That's why I went to the streets. So at what point did Charles say, you know what? And how did it make you feel when you started doing it, working on Charles?
I think for me it happened when I started to realize that
Because the steps that's where it's at. We know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's the meat
I,
and
I, I
potatoes.
think I think for me it's I was excited about this recovery and hanging out with y'all, but I couldn't pinpoint why I was still feeling like shit.
Mhm.
And I was still practicing some behaviors that wasn't conducive to staying clean.
The lifestyle was a fucking bitch to get rid of.
And I was still doing shit. I had got into a shootout. Uh, and my sponsor was like, "You got 5 years clean, man. What are you doing?" I was like, "Man, the motherfuckers was tripping." He was like, "Why did you go over there?" Like, "'Cause I ain't had nothing else to do." Like, "Well, that's a problem right there." It was the behavior and the shit. I was doing everything except getting loaded. Nothing had changed. And that's when he started telling me that if I got into this process, that I would start doing something different. And that a lot of stuff that you doing, you would just stop doing it automatically because it'll no longer sit well in your spirit. I was like, "Well," he's like, "Yeah, but you gotta do this work because this is a spiritual program. You gotta do this work." Uh, and that's why I say I got into the step work process, man. Uh, I started sharing and he started talking about being battle tested. Like anybody can run their mouth, but can you live this shit? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, you get a standing ovation, you're gonna get a lot of pussy, you gonna get all that, but that's gonna come a time when you're gonna have something you and you.
Sure.
And that great share ain't gonna get it. What work you put in. Because we already know you know how to talk. You've been running your mouth all your life. You was a pimp. You know how to get the money out the broad and all that. But can you fight this disease on a daily basis? Can you stay clean? And so when I got into the step work process, that's what, like I said, after that sixth step, I knew then that I wanted to be here. That if I was gonna stay here, I was gonna have to internalize this program.
Mm.
And I went deep. I got to working on those mama issues, dad issues. Cause you gotta remember, I was also going home every year. Every year I went home, I couldn't wait to get back out here. And one day I told my sponsor, man, I ain't going home this year. He said, why not? I said, man, them motherfuckers get on my nerves. They're always trying to make me feel bad. He said, man, they ain't got the ability to make you feel bad. He said, let me ask you a question. When you go home, what they do? They well, they take me shopping, they give me money. Everybody's, arguing about who I'm gonna stay with. He said, so they loving on you. I said, yeah. He said, then what the fuck is wrong? He said, they don't have the ability to hurt your feelings. What's bothering you is them defects of character and that shit you done to them that you ain't addressed. Again, step work. You thought you was gonna go home and make a Benz and you ain't even there. That's why. Because when you see your mama, she cooking, taking you shopping, giving you money, only thing you thinking about is how many VCRs you took from. How many times she had to come you took her rent money and they put her out.
At that point, you find out how the disease is so cunning and baffling, like
I
a
was
fucking
like,
turn
wow,
something so
man.
positive into fucking so goddamn negative.
I was like, man, I don't want to look at that. He was like, you got to. And I remember I was writing, man, and I was writing. And he called me and I said, man, I was crying. And I said, man, I don't like what I'm writing, man. I don't like what I'm putting on this paper. He said, keep writing or smoke. He said, because if you writing and crying, that shit working. Ah,
Cleansing of the soul, man.
he said, keep writing or smoke. Like, man, that's a cold shit he just said.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. The step work process is what allowed me to dig deep, start looking at some shit I didn't want to look at. Cause it used to bother me. They would call me and say such and such people died. And these are like favorite aunties that like every birthday they gave me a cake. And I come from that family where if you're 12 years old, your mama give you $24 and your daddy give you $24. You get a chocolate cake. And these favorite aunties and uncles that I grew up with that I loved, they were passing. And I felt nothing. And I asked my sponsor, man, this is my favorite auntie and uncle, man. They just passed. I don't feel nothing. I ain't even concerned about going to the funeral. What is wrong with me? And we started working on what is called detachment. 'Cause I had been in prison all my life, most of my life, damn near all my life. And so that shit didn't mean nothing to me. I couldn't find it in me. And he said, listen, man, no one says you have to grieve the way everybody else grieves. That's your own grieving process. But you need to get in touch with those detachments. You know what I'm saying? Because you did a lot of time, man. And you had to become somebody that you wasn't. You had to become a whole person that you wasn't, man. And you ain't really got no friends. Your longest relationship has been with crack cocaine, motherfucker. And so the step work is what changed my spirit. And I started to realize that yeah, it didn't really have nothing to do with what the fuck I was wearing. You know what I'm saying? Cause my sponsor said, you got all that stuff because you got a job and you ain't hit the pipe. Hit the pipe, but I bet you don't dress like that no more. Like, wow. It's like, look how quickly all that could go. But do this work, man. And watch how you will get some more of that.
Huh.
It's just everything that he said came to pass. And luckily I had a sponsor that didn't tell me what to do. He showed me. He's one of them dudes that remember everything I said. Man, we can go back to my first set of steps. That motherfucker remember what I said in my first step. He has a mind like that. He would bring that shit up, and I'm like, man, you remember that? Like, yeah, but yeah, I think that's what really, like I said, that sixth step is when I went all in, uh, because I was so afraid of using. I know what happens when I use it. I won't go to penitentiary no more.
Nah, no more.
And I started to realize and I even said today, man, it's simple to others, but it's monumental to me. Uh, One of the biggest hopes that I have in this program is that for the last 14 years, I haven't had to start over.
Mm.
I always start over. I got to get out the pen, hope she still got my clothes, hope she got my bike. Uh, you know, I go over there and this other dude wearing my shit. It's I ain't had to start over, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had to start over. I've had to regroup. I've had to reassess, but I ain't had to start over. Like where I'm gonna live and what I'm gonna eat. And I ain't had to do none of that. And it helped me to. I didn't understand that there's various forms of being institutionalized. I have the kind that's not noticed unless you know it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Most people that institutionalize, because they conversation, the way they dress, and how they eat. That wasn't me. I hate spreads. I will never make a top ramen spread.
Really?
I don't do it.
I
Man,
still
just
love them.
if you
I
don't
still love them.
stop.
I don't
still
do
love
nothing.
them.
I don't do nothing that I did. I don't play dominoes. I don't play pinochle.
Damn.
None of that. My institution, my mental institution is in the way that I think.
Mm.
That's what my sponsor said. Yours is your thinking. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mine is my thinking. And I didn't realize that. He said, look how you react to situations and circumstances. The way you did when you used. Still gangbanging. When you stayed with that girl, you thought because you bought groceries, everybody in the house supposed to do what you say do. You're not in a relationship. You're in a dictatorship. You still pimping. I was like, wow. Look at the way you react to things like you're still in jail. Like you're still in prison. Because he came over one time when I was staying with Denise in the condo, and he said, let me use the bathroom. And I let him, I said, it's right there. And later, was it the night, or maybe the next day, he said, hey, man, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah. Think, man, why all your hygiene on one side and hers on the other side? I said, yeah, I don't play that, man. Don't touch my shit. Really? That's your girl. Y'all live together. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Huh.
You still shower like you in jail. You still doing jail shit. I was like, I didn't. So
You
mine
didn't see it.
was, I didn't see it because mine wasn't the conventional institutionalized person that you see. Some people are obvious. You would have to be around me and live with me or either talk to me to see my sponsor had gotten to know me good. And he had seen the way that I live. Like, she's not
Did you have shower shoes by the shower?
She's not your celly. Why are you? Because my girl used to say, why do you get in the shower with your, why are you getting, first of all, you get in the shower with your shower suit. Second of all, why is you washing your drawers and your tank top out in the shower? I didn't
still fucking showering in there with
My
that.
institutionalization comes in the comfort of me. You have to live with me to see it. You're not going to see it out here in public.
Sure.
You see it. Like this motherfucker is washing drawers and tank top. He got a whole washing
He's in
dry
there
central
doing
heating
this
there.
stuff. He's in there still doing this and shit.
And my excuse was, man, mind your business. You got all your cosmetics and your hygiene in one set. Like I can't. Why'd you separate? What is going on? Because I'm on my own cabinet. Use the drawer. I'm not your silly. What's wrong with you? And I didn't see it, but the step work helped me to see it. My sponsor helped me to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I started to realize that it was an inside job, and that's when I realized that this was bigger than using.
So, last question, and we always end with this question. The name of the podcast is obviously No Matter What. What does no matter what mean to Charles?
Let me see. No matter what, but of course, no matter what, we don't use. No matter what happens, we don't get loaded. But my saying Instead of saying no matter what, my saying is so far so good. But no matter what, no matter what happens, and I've had some recent ones. A lot of mine has been self-inflicted.
Mm.
But no matter what, for me, is I don't get loaded. I might do some other shit, but I don't get loaded. And that I tell on myself. Because it doesn't matter how much clean time I got, how much step work I do, how many meetings I go to, who my sponsor is and who I hang out with, how many conventions I go to. I still live with the disease of addiction. I don't suffer from it, but I live with it. That means no matter what is always on the table. I'm always using. It just ain't dope. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So there's a whole bunch of situations that could turn into no matter what
Oh, yeah.
if I ain't paying attention. I believe that I believe that my sole job, Narcotics Anonymous has no side effects. The recovery process has no side effects. I believe that my job is to continue to manipulate my thinking. So no matter what, I got to manipulate my thinking.
That's right.
No matter what happens, no matter how I
fucking what.
feel, this is just all a part of living. Don't get clean and every day is, grits and gravy.
Hell
You know what I'm
no.
saying?
That's naive
But
thinking.
I don't gotta.
I wish.
But I don't gotta get loaded. I can get mad. I can get angry. All that's a human emotion. I just gotta learn to channel it where it don't hurt me, hurt others. That's no matter what.
I always like to look at it like this: problem, solution. How do I get to the solution part?
That's it. Yeah. So that's
We're always gonna fucking come up with something. That's life on life's terms.
my boys say I'm gonna die with this. I live with this disease, but I don't have to die because of it.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying? Goal, no matter what, man, the goal is to die clean.
Damn right.
Absolutely.
To die angry, mad. I ain't gotta die. I need to die
Yeah.
clean.
All right. And Charles, I do appreciate you coming out on this podcast.
Glad we
are
got him before the doctor.
Yeah. You are an inspiration, man. Trust and believe that, and I will, I appreciate
Absolutely.
you. For the viewers, if you or your loved one are struggling, there's links down in the bio. Feel free to reach out to them. If you do not want to speak to someone on the phone, please comment down below, and we'll get back to you. Peace and love.